It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new light for me. And I'm feeling pretty good, actually, even though I'm up at just before 5 in the morning. It's pretty early for me to be starting work, but you know what? It's a lovely sunny morning at Faversham Station, and look what I get to drive today. It's a Javelin. Britain's fastest as well. Fancy, yeah. So, let's get to it, shall we? Yes, hello, people of the internet. Welcome back to another station, another mile. Welcome to ASAM Plays once again. Looks a bit different, doesn't it? Yes. Well, some of you will know what will recognise and have seen what we've done already, because this is actually being recorded live off my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/AJ Can't Fail. If you're watching live, hello, you're kind of like the live studio audience, I guess. And if you're not on Twitch or you're not able to watch the streams live, then you can watch on YouTube. There you go. You still get all the goodness just as normal. So what we're doing today is a scenario that I've technically already done, but I kind of didn't do it very well. So I figured we'd do it again. And this time we're doing it in summer rather than spring, which means the sun's up a bit earlier, even though it is literally coming up on 5 a.m. Studio applause. Hey! Just walked out from stage, right? Hello, YouTube people. Yes. The live studio audience are waving at the YouTube chat right now. But, yeah, because we've got a nice summer's morning here. Look at that. The sun's rising over the buildings. And we're at Faversham Station, a station I have visited quite a bit IRL. Used to come down here quite a bit to visit friends and go to punk gigs, believe it or not. Because Kent, the punk rock capital of the world these days. So we need to actually... no, I don't want to. Calm down. The game always does this. You're off wandering off for a natter. You sure you still want to do this? Yes. So if we look here at the working passenger information display, new for this route, I believe. This was the first route in the game, in Train Sim World 2, to have this working. You can see there, first, 5 a.m., St Pancras International, on time. Calling it Sittingbourne, Raynham, Gillingham, and all the others. So that'll be this train, really. So we better get aboard and drive it. And if you need a reminder, here's the full map. We're starting all the way down there. We're not stopping at Tenham, but we're stopping at most of these all the way up here. And then when we get to Ebbsfleet International, which we'll be switching to the overhead cantineries and going on the full high-speed 1 section. We'll be honest, when this route first came out, a little bit disappointed there wasn't more of high-speed 1. I thought it was at least going to go all the way down to Ashford International before it would come off there. Do you see what I mean? This is more a bit of high-speed 1 and then a normal, you know, Chatham, I believe it's the Chatham main line, I think. This is kind of my local route as well, sort of. Normally, if we kept going from Rochester straight up sort of there on the map, you'd find where I live. But we generally turn right and go via Strood and Higham, not Higham, I'm pretty sure it's not Higham anyway. Gravesend, and then on to high-speed 1 up there. So, let's get about it, shall we? Nope, that's the passenger door. Close that door, and let's enter the cab of the Class 395. It's a lovely machine. It's one of those high-speed trains that really has like a sort of command module, like command deck feel to it. You're sat in the middle of this massive dashboard full of buttons and lights and HUDs and things like that. It looks immense. So let's stop waffling on. I always wonder how I'm running like minutes late before we've even set off. And then I remember, oh yeah, I kind of ramble for 5 minutes in the intro, don't I? Anyway, objective complete. Let's set off on our journey, shall we? So reverser, not off, we go forward. Things are binging at me. Do we need to turn off the DRA? We do not. Press the AWS reset, that's fine. We are on third rail running. We will have to change to overhead wire running at some point, but for now, let's get on with it, shall we? Let's go. Why are we not going? And why are we not going? Hang on. Neutral. Forward. Oops. Forward again. Might have to do this, which is covered. Right, press pan up, shoes down. And we start. Okay, right. That seems to be a glitch that we've encountered with this route. You have to... So when you're changing power supply, you hold down one of these buttons for a couple of seconds, and then you press this twice. But each time, it seems to not register the second press, so you need to go over and press it again, including in that scenario where we didn't even have to change power supply. But, doesn't matter. That's okay. We're underway. We are departing Famisham at 5:03 sharp. So, now we've got time to make up that time. It's okay. Most importantly, though, look at our train. Look at it there. You can apparently find the Trainbow livery, the Pride liveried Javelin in this game, but it kind of randomly spawns. You can't control whether it spawns. I would love to be able to spawn it because, you know, I'd be rocking it right now, really. But either way, the trundle slowly out of Faversham Station. In a minute, we'll be able to properly get up to speed. For now, let's just enjoy the early morning lighting, the Unreal Engine lighting, which I've always said is one of the best elements of the train simulator game, especially Train Sim World 1 and 2. Always been the best part of it. Oh, we can speed up to 60 miles an hour. Should we do that? I think we should. Let's go. Pedal to the... Well, not quite pedal. Lever to the metal. There we go. Now we can start to pick up some speed. Driver, I have work in the city. We'll pay you £1 million if you go all the way without stopping. Well, you know, I would get fired for that. But the £1 million would make the payoff worthwhile, I think. It's also quite ironic because it's a sunny day in-game, a sunny morning, and it's a sunny-ish day outside IRL right now. It's a sunny afternoon. Lever to the beep, no. Lever to the track, yes, okay, like that as well. Speed limit's also going up gradually as we go. Going over a road bridge there. So our first stop, Sittingbourne, we will be going through Raynham first, but not stopping there. Look at the light and reflections and everything. Oh, this is why I like running summer scenarios in Train Sim World 2. I mean, I am a summer person anyway. I'm one of those people. Oh, I forgot the headlights. This is why I'm filming in front of a live studio audience. I've got people to nag me. Day running. There we go. We've got the lights on. I keep on moving with the lights on. With the lights on. However that song goes. Clearly written about driving a train. I keep on moving with the front headlights on. There you go. Official lyrics to that song. The backseat gaming. I do have a sunny personality. Oh, you're very kind. That's lovely of you to say. Oh, just because you're live in the studio with me, you're going to butter me up. I see how it is. But yeah, I am definitely a summer person. I am far happier in the summer. I love sunshine and everything. I'm the sort of person that when people moan and wish it wants to rain, they really hope it rains in the summer. I'm like, no, because that's the worst time of year for it to rain. Because you just have grey, rainy, wet, miserable weather outside, but because it's summer, it's muggy as hell. So you can't decide whether you want to go out and get soaked or stay inside and sweat, just melt in a puddle of sweat. So that's the worst part. But otherwise, I do like summer and the sunshine and everything. I don't think it's any coincidence that I have really bad seasonal depression around autumn and winter time. So, AJ, the Tom Ingram of train sims. I'll take that comparison. I'm not sure what inspired that one, but I will take it, given I do like British touring car driver Tom Ingram. After watching Jeremy Clarkson's farming series, I empathise with farmers who want the rain. Fair. You know, meantime, I was just about to say, I'm going over the speed limit. Decreases under speed limit. Speed limit increases anyway. Oh, okay, fine. So we've got to stop at Sittingbourne in 4 and a bit miles. Hang on. Trying to get a photo here. With trees. There we go. Trying to avoid any trackside flotsam and jetsam bowling my own picture. The worst time ever is the week after Christmas. I would agree, Mike, I would agree the week after New Year's is the worst. It absolutely is. It's horrible because you have winter, but you don't have Christmas to look forward to or anything like that. In fact, you're broke after Christmas and everything else is depressing. So, yeah, no, I would agree. Meantime, this is Raynham up here, I believe. Like I said, we're not stopping here. So if there's any spotters on the platforms, there you go. Have a bit of early morning horn. Doesn't look like there is. Because even the most hardcore spotter is probably not going to be getting up at 5 AM to spot a Javelin that they could probably get up at a civilised time and go to their local station and spot anyway. The trouble is the only rain we know from Lazier is thunderstorms. Blimey. We had a tornado in the UK. Yeah, it was like a mini tornado in East London. That was wild. Oh. That W sign just on the trackside there was whistle, and given we're driving a modern train that has a horn instead of a whistle, I think it'd be rude not to. Interesting thing about the Javelin, the horn really isn't that loud, and especially inside, I'm pressing the horn buttons, nothing there. In fact, it's drowned out by my keyboard as I press the button to sound the horn. Listen. There you go. Doesn't help I've got a loud mechanical keyboard for those lovely clickety-clackety vibes. So, we've got 1.8 miles to go until our first stop. Should start slowing down now. We'll at least coast. One thing you've probably noticed in these videos so far is that I'm not very good at stopping at stations. I either fly into them way too fast, or I panic and slam all the brakes on and stop about half a mile too early. So hopefully we'll do none of those things this time. This is a strange one, really, because you spend the whole route driving a train that you know can do 140 miles an hour plus. You can only actually do it in the very last section, so you have to be patient. There's a lot of civil, everyday 30, 40, 60 mile an hour running. Anyway, 0.8 miles. Let's start putting a little bit of braking on. You need those brake markers like they have in Formula 1. That's not such a bad idea, really. I have a rainbow keyboard. Oh, I approve. By the way, Ryan Barker 455 in the chat mentioned, keep an eye out at every 395 that pass in case it's the trainbow. Yes. Very possible that it still spawns as an AI train. Also, one thing you have to watch out for with the Javelin, ironically, it's a really fast train. Its brakes, not very good. It kind of takes braking as a bit of a suggestion. So you kind of come in towards the station, you go, well, it can accelerate really fast. Can it decelerate very fast? No. No, it can't. But looks like we should get this one just okay if we just coast in. Come on. Come on. It's our first stop at Sittingbourne. Please. Do you want to do that? There we go. We'll just overshoot the marker, but not too much. There we go. Right. Unlock the doors. Being, that's something that's very accurate in this game. They have modeled how deafeningly loud the noise is when you open the doors on a Javelin. The amount of times I've been sat like in one of those benches you can see just up on the platform edge there, or up against the wall there on the platform. I've been sat in one of those benches waiting for a train. A Javelin's come in and then gone bing, bing, bing right in front of me, and I'm like, ow! Shush! I know the doors have opened. I know why it's the case. I know why it does that, but it is particularly loud. Meantime, while we're stopped here, I could take my first sip of tea, because of course, wouldn't be an ASAM Plays video without me drinking tea, would it? And you know what? This is a Kit Kat mug. I got in an Easter egg ages ago, and you'll see there it's got a slot. This is a Kit Kat bar, and it goes right in there. You see? Genius. An absolutely amazing bit of design. And you know the best part? I'm feeling it right now. It is pretty hot on the base. People have said, like, well, if you're having a cup of tea, won't it melt the chocolate bar? Well, time to find out. Let's open it. No. Seems to be alright. Anyway, let's go. Departing away from Sittingbourne. Starting speed limit's 90 miles an hour, so I think we can safely max out the throttle power. Next stop will be Raynham, but we will go through Newington, which we're not stopping at, so. To paraphrase Jeremy Clarkson, the Javelin's brakes have the same properties really as cheese. Jeremy Clarkson, one of two men that can make the word cheese very funny. Well, I'm sure there are more than that, but the two I know of are Jeremy Clarkson and Tim Minchin, who has an entire song just called Cheese. And most of it is about, like, his worst addiction, which is cheese, which I kind of relate to on a spiritual level because I love cheese. Oh, how did I forget James May? Okay, 3 people. Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and Tim Minchin. What do they all have in common? They make the word cheese hilarious. So there you go. Tim Minchin also uses a piano when he makes the word cheese hilarious, but still, it counts. A little bit melted on the Kit Kat, but otherwise, fine. It's okay. Slam cheese. my cheese addiction I'll never recover from. It sounded a bit too real, Mike. It's like, I'll never recover my cheese addiction. I've lost everyone in my life. I have no one left. What's my favourite cheese? That's a good question, actually. James May is also one of the few on the planet to outcook Gordon Ramsay. Blimey. I'd also love to see him like Gordon Ramsay just yelling and swearing at him. Like, this chicken's so fucking raw, I could basically pick it up and get it to lay an egg. And James May is like, oh, will you shut up? No, you don't achieve anything in the kitchen by shouting at it. Did I see him on the F word? Oh my, I need to. I need to. Perfect. You know when tea just hits the perfect temperature to drink? And it's quite a small window sometimes. Very easy to take a sip too early and burn everything inside your mouth. Or you leave it a little bit too long and it's just gone lukewarm. And you just go, yeah, it's not nice. Some strange people like cold tea. I don't. It genuinely makes me retch. Just looking at cold tea makes me like physically sick. Which is ironic given that how much I like normal warm tea, you know? Anyway, we're just cruising along at a rather nice miles per hour. Raynham is still 2.8 miles away, so that's fine. And this will be Newington. So we're going through on the centre road. Once again, if anyone's up this early, they can have a horn show. There was one person on the platform. Probably just like a staffer. First one in there, they had to unlock the door for like the ticket office. I've not had a cup of tea in ages. Maybe I should have one. Yes, have one right now. Apparently that's an order. If you're travelling aboard one of my trains, you must have one. Just have one. We'll give you one, complimentary. There's a difference between cold room temperature tea and iced tea. Maybe that's what I'm getting wrong. One of them is horrible. The other is a successful rapper and new metal artist. No, that's iced tea. No, right, I've got it confused. An Earl Grey, please and thank you. Good, you can have the Earl Grey, because I don't like Earl Grey. Whether that makes me not a true tea purist, I don't know. But yeah, so fun story, I didn't know what Earl Grey was when so I used to date someone who lived near Cardiff in Wales, right? And her parents were lovely, really doting, very nice. Whenever I visited, it was great. They'd always ply me with cups of tea. It's a good start there. Except I can never work out why the tea in question tasted like, instead of boiling water to make the tea, they'd boiled Diet Coke or Dr. Pepper or Asda own brand Coke. Like, it was horrible. I was like, why does this taste so gross? Is the water in the valleys really this bad? And then after I realised, oh no, wait, that's Earl Grey. Apparently that was my first experience of Earl Grey, and I was like, I didn't like it. Boiling Coke to make tea. Honestly, that's what it tasted like. And I don't like Diet Coke normally. So if I think someone has made tea with boiled Diet Coke, I'm probably not going to like it. So, yeah, the Earl Grey, you can have that. You don't have to worry about me stealing all the tea bags. What's your preference? English breakfast? Yes. So much so that one day I went in a cafe and someone was like, would you like English breakfast tea? I'm like, I just want tea. Why do I need English breakfast tea? Oh my goodness. So I've just realised we're pulling into Raynham Station. And, yeah, you see what I was saying about the brakes? They're not very good. They're not very good. Although we might still stop in time just about. Oh, we're spot on. We're spot on. How did I do that by accident? Okay. Apparently, Diet Coke has only one good use. What's that? As a toilet cleaner? Fun fact, I did one. Mentos rocket engines. Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, so we're here at Raynham. There's a little bay platform here with the train in it. Oh, it's a platform 0 as well. Someone told Jeff Marshall. He probably knows already. I believe he did a series visiting every station with a platform 0 on it in the country. Normally, I think platform 0s come about when an existing station has extra platforms, or the platforms are like renumbered, and it doesn't make, like, instead of, because this platform over here, hang on, this platform here is 2, it wouldn't make sense for this to suddenly be 1. So they just keep it as 2, make this one 1, and make this one 0 over here. Like, I believe at King's Cross, don't quote me on this, but I think what is now platform 0 used to just be a non-passenger platform. Like, I think it used to be for, like, mail trains and things like that, or freight in general, cargo. So I think it was just for, like, newspapers and freight trains and mail, basically. This is the night mail crossing the border, etc. Anyway, let's get back going. So I think when they decided, well, we're not using it to deliver mail anymore, let's use it to deliver passengers instead, because it went, like, non-existent platform 1, 2, 3, 4, rather than renumbering them all going the other way, they just made that one 0. See what I mean? Be interesting if they ever got into a scenario where they're like, we've already got a platform 0, what do we need now? Platform -1. Platform -1 for the 2561 service to the Mirror Universe. Once again, me spamming pictures of my own train, but why would I not? It looks nice. Your braking improved with our distractions. I think we found the solution. You think? Also, going back to the Diet Coke thing, you've reminded me of something there, Super Mike. When I was at university, there was one day where I had like a bowl of pasta that I cooked up, and the rest of it had kind of left over as like salad or whatever, and I'd used that, but I'd still had loads of it, and I'm like, I'm not going to eat this in time, so I need to get rid of this. So I, you know, like you do with a lot of waste food, you flush it down the toilet. Except, it was such thick pasta, and there was like a U-bend thing, it got stuck in the U-bend, and I'm like, right, I've just blocked my toilet with pasta. Slight issue. What do I do to clear it? And I suddenly thought, well, what if, like, I think I Googled something, and they were like, well, if you can get, like, a sudden amount of force, like, really flush the toilet powerfully or something, like, hit it with a lot of force, you can sort of shove it through. And I went, hang on a minute. Because I was a broke-ass student, I bought mostly own-brand food, which most of the time is great. It's lovely. I never knock own-brand food. Most of the time, it's just as good, if not better, than the name-brand food that's like 2 or 3 quid a packet more. There are a few exceptions, though, and one of them is own-brand Coke. This was a leading supermarket brand's own-brand cola. It was vile. So I had a spare bottle of it in just a cupboard. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like, maybe as an emergency mixer if I run out of literally everything else. Like, I'm at a house party and I'm like, I have no mixer available. What, have you got no Coke? No. No Diet? No. Bleach? No. It's really getting desperate. I have to break out the Asda own brand Coke. Speeding a bit here. But distractions last time did help me stop on time, so maybe that's the key here. Oh, we're coming up on Gillingham. A leading supermarket if we're avoiding brands. What does it rhyme with? Well, I may have just blurted it out, yeah. Pasta, ironically. So yeah, I noticed this unused bottle, this unopened bottle of pasta, own brand Coke in the cupboard, and I went, hang on a minute, if I shake this up and then go like spray it in, just like, pfft, like that, maybe that'd be enough, like a jet of power. Let me just break that off for a second as we observe over here. See that line going off over there? That's the former Chatham Dockyard branch. Officially IRL cut off from the main line now and largely overgrown and deserted. Very, very interesting though. Love to do a proper video on it one day, and I'm sure I will. I had filmed one technically, but I kind of felt like it needed a bit more to it, so we'll see. But yeah, to those of you wondering whether my improvised toilet unblocker worked, it did. It did. Own brand Coke went everywhere, including all over my own face, but enough of it sprayed down the U-bend of the toilet at enough of a force to shift the jammed pasta. So there you go. If you ever desperately need to unblock your toilet, any nearby Coke will do the job. Anyway, here's Gillingham Station. Fun fact, this used to be a home station of mine. I used to live in Gillingham. And, well, based on where we lived in Gillingham, Yeah. Let's put it this way. I went back to Gillingham like 10 years old after we moved away, because it was only when I was a little kid when we lived there. And I went back there it was college student union business I went. And we went to the college at Gillingham. And as I was finding my way there, I stumbled across the old like housing estate, like blocks of flats I used to live in. And I was like, oh my word, this is the first time I've been back here in like over 10 years. And then I looked around at the metal cage fencing it was all inside. And looked around and I was like, yeah, I think there's a reason we left. I have precisely one happy memory from living there. Otherwise, I mean, Gillingham's not bad. I'm sure there's worse places to live. You know, like hell. I don't know. So, anyway, most important thing about it is that it does have that Chatham Dockyard branch off it, which is very interesting. It used to go down to the Chatham Docks, funnily enough. That's why it's called what it is. Let's get back in the seat. Lock the doors. Also, apparently, Mark Laren Senna knows a girl that he fancies there. Are you good, bae? That's her not responding to your texts. And that's not the sound of her sliding into your DMs. Anyway, we are now leaving Gillingham. So, you know, the object of Mark's affections by... Well, I better finish this tea now. It's starting to get to that lukewarm phase. Don't talk ish about hell like that. They have a good rallycross track. You know, valid. I'll give them that. And she's ghosted me for months now. I've accepted it. She lives in Gillingham, mate. You don't want it. You don't want it. Professor Hitch has tea. Everyone have applause emotes in chat. And if you're watching this on YouTube, same thing. Yeah, the happiest memory I had from that living in that place in Gillingham was because it was on like the second or third floor. Well, there was two things. One, we didn't have a garden, obviously. We didn't have the balcony outside our flat. But that was nice because if there was no one else around, I just used that as a massive Hot Wheels drag strip. Because it was all like kind of metal fenced in. So we couldn't fall off it or anything. And the cars couldn't like sneak through a gap under the fence and just plummet a million feet to their demise. So that was fun. And also, because it was on like the second or third floor, 1 year at Christmas, Santa visited. And I could tell that he'd visited because he'd left like white powdery footprints, like snow footprints from his boots from the window across our living room to the Christmas tree and back out again. Now, my parents have tried telling me that it was actually my dad who just covered his boots in talcum powder and made some footprints just to fool like 6 or 7 year old me or however old I would have been. But I don't believe them. I would rather believe that Santa actually visited. So, yeah, that was nice. White powdery footprints from Colombia. Well, you never know. Maybe he was over in Colombia and he was like, oh no, I've got to go deliver to that kid in Gillingham now. Hang on. Wait a minute, I haven't cleaned my boots off yet. Meantime, we're coming up on Chatham now. Fun fact, my family did not live in a house until I was 13. I'd lived in flats up until that point. Lived in flats most of my life, to be honest. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with them. Let's be honest, you can have good and crap houses and good and crap flats, you know what I mean? No wonder they never found him in the North Pole, yeah. So anyway, we're here at Chatham, which confusingly is not where the Chatham Dockyard branch is. So Columbia just has a layer of cocaine like a beach. Apparently so. That's what we've worked out here. Anyway, I'm going to trundle slowly into Chatham Station. It's what the beaches are made of. Anyway, from Columbia, from the powdery beaches of Columbia, back to Kent. We're at Chatham Station. Also another local of mine. And also a good demonstration of a phenomenon that I'm sure I've talked about in my videos before, but this is a really good example. Oh, I've not unlocked the doors. Hang on. Just jogging back to the train. Hang on. Wait a minute. There you go. Sorry. Anyway, yes. So, hang on. Run back up the platform. Quickly, while we're here, a quick history lesson of sorts. Now, 90% of all stations, especially in the UK, used to have some sort of freight yard when, you know, before the car was invented or anything. used to deliver all freight by train. So every single town would have its own freight yard at the station to deliver goods and food and stuff. Now, almost all of them, pretty much all of them, when they were inevitably closed down and not used anymore, were normally turned into more station stuff. 99% of the time, they were turned into car parks because they were just easy to tarmac over. So right here, can you see how it almost looks like if a track had come off here and gone in here, up there at an angle, and then branched out and had a little yard in there? That's because that is almost 99% certain what actually happened. If you ever see a car park, especially when it's angled like that to the railway, it's not perfectly parallel to the railway. If it branches off like that, almost 100% certainty that used to be a freight yard of some kind. You watch as someone looks up at Chatham and he's like, no, that actually wasn't a car park, wasn't a freight yard originally. Actually, but yeah, 99.6% of the time that is the case. So if you notice, and you know, it's often all sorts of like old, sometimes there's old platforms and stuff. I have locked the doors. Do the doors not want to lock? You want to do the thing? Do I have to go down the train and manually close all the doors? Oh, here we go. Well, that one's beeping. Okay. So we've locked one door. Can we lock the others? Okay, this is slightly puzzling. Oh, why did I turn the... Hang on, that might be it. Is that it? There we go. For some reason, I turned the reverser off. I don't quite know how I'd manage that, but, you know. So anyway, we move. Let's go. Oh, now it's... Hang on a minute. Wait a minute. So, power handle. Right, reverser forward. Do you have to press this again? Yep, there we go. This is like this train's version of have you tried turning it off and on again? My train's not working. Have you tried pressing pan up, shoes down again? No. Is it definitely plugged in? Oh, straight into the tunnel of darkness. Night running. Day backup. Night backup. Headlights off altogether. Tail lights. Headlights off again. Marker lights. Day running. There we go. Oh, there's a train. Another train. Hello. There we go. And we're speeding. Whoops. So we'll just slow off a little bit there. Trying around the corner. Ooh! So now we're coming up on the 2 stations of Rochester. For apparently Rochester right now has 2 stations. Sort of. So here's one. Here's the first one. This was the main Rochester station, and I've been here quite a few times. There's a train also stabled in one of the platforms. But as you can kind of see, not much going on here now. That's because it's all been demolished and swept away. But at the time of doing so for the game, it was obviously, at least the platforms were still here, just still extant. So up here is the new Rochester Station, which I believe only opened about 5 years ago. It's very recent because about 10 years ago I used to travel down to Kent quite a bit. That's when I used to go to Faversham and stuff. And I always remember getting off at that original Rochester Station. I don't remember this new station. Maybe I remember them building it. So I kind of remember it in inverse condition to that. Like, I remember that Rochester Station up there having all the buildings and stuff on it, and this just being an empty platform. So I believe, because you may be thinking, isn't it a bit expensive just to demolish one station and build a brand new one literally like round the corner from the old one? Well, I believe this one is closer to the town centre, closer for like transport links, easy to access, things like that. So that's normally why these things happen. There we go. And open the doors. Unlock the left side doors. There we go. Sun's coming up behind the buildings. It's a lovely morning. It is. It's a very pleasant morning, actually. Let's see if we can get a nice photo here. Oh my God, I've just realised something. Hang on. Can you see the driver, well, me, in the cab? Oh, is he just moving his head? Hang on. Okay, he's just moving his head around. I thought his head movement was tied to my camera. Look, I thought he actually moved his head to look at where the camera was looking. Do you know what I mean? I thought that would have been really like funky thing to do. I'll take a little picture here, why not? But yeah, this is the new improved Rochester Station. I thought it was headbanging to Capital FM. Yeah, he's got the Kiss breakfast show on right now. Although knowing me, it'd be more like the Radio 2 breakfast show. Which, look, with Terry Wogan was lit. And yes, I'm saying that because my parents would insist on listening to it every morning when they take me to school. And I didn't mind it, because Terry Wogan was great. Especially when he did the Janet and John, like, they were like these parody kids stories that he'd read, called Janet and John. And they were parody kids stories because they were very much un-PG. But he was reading them at 8:30 in the morning, so they had to be PG. So they were just a festival of outrageous innuendo. The amount of times that my parents, sometimes me, if I actually understood the references, at which point, most of the time I was like 10 years old, I was like, Mum, why is this so funny? And they're like, we'll tell you when you're older, son. The amount of times Terry Wogan himself would start corpsing was amazing. So yeah, happy memories of that. You have to respect that ability, hell yeah. So, interesting factoid coming up here. This is the River Medway, I believe. And this is the Rochester Bridge. See, we're trundling over it right now. And so, I don't know if you can see out the window. It's kind of awkward to see from here. The camera's playing up. But over here, docked up, is an old former Soviet Union Cold War nuclear submarine. There it is. Can you see it over there? There it is in the background. I'm speeding a little bit. I'll just put the brakes on a tiny bit. But yes, that is a former Soviet nuclear submarine. I believe it's called the Black Widow. Why the hell is there a Soviet Union nuclear submarine hiding in a random docks in Kent, England? You may be asking. Well, very simple. Someone bought it and preserved it after the Cold War, and it was moored up, I believe, somewhere on the Thames as like a working museum. So you just sort of be able to board it and check it out and have a look around. And then after a while, it became too, like, rusty and knackered, so it's just sort of lived there forever. Whether it's ever restored, I've no idea. I mean, restoring heritage railway locomotives, as we know, kind of difficult enough, let alone restoring former Soviet Union Cold War nuclear submarines. I'd imagine that's not an easy task. But, either way, it's over there. It's just behind those trees now, but it's over there. And it's very cool that they've modelled it in the game. Really like that. Because I remember when I used to go down to Rochester and that on the train, I'd go over and be like, there is still a submarine still just like chilling there, just like, you alright? How you doing? Maybe it's actually like a retired like submarine veteran. They're just like, it's just chilling there. On the water. It's got a nice home on the water, you know. Just chilling there. Having a martini out on his balcony. Oh, meantime, we have got, this is not a submarine to our left, but it is another train. So let's unlock the doors and have a look. Have a look at this freight train. There it is. It's Class 66. As is, you know, the case with 99.6% of freight trains in the UK these days. Probably Class 66 at the front of it. And you can hear that idling sound. That's why they're nicknamed yin-yangs. Or yin-yings, I should say. Because you can hear it. Ying, 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 ying. There you go. That's the sound it makes when it's idling. Interestingly, I think a very similar engine to what's in the Class 66 has just been put into some re-engined Class 56s, which are slightly older British Rail diesels. Really impressive, actually. They've done the same sort of thing they did with the Class 57s, which were re-engined 47s, and the re-engined Class 73s, which are Class 8... No, they're Class 73 9s for some reason. But they've put a modern engine in an older chassis. And the best part about the re-engined Class 56s with these American engines in? No, not the fact that it's from the diesel engine railway division of General Motors, which means, yes, they've basically LS swapped old diesels. The best bit about these re-engined Class 56s is that they have been reclassified Class 69s. I kid you not. And if that's not nice, I don't know what is. Anyway, well, that 66 did start moving, and then the signal was like, no, wait a minute, let that Javelin go first. So, morning, see you later, have a nice day, delivering stuff. Delivering stuff we head off now. Round the pretty tight corner into a never-ending tunnel. At least someone at British Rail has a sense of humour. Well, it's not British Rail anymore. It has been revived as Great British Rail. Because it's great, apparently. Because apparently headed up by Tony the Tiger. It's Great British Rail. Except it's nothing like the old British Rail at all, and it's not really nationalised. It's just a sort of different name for the same system we've already got, I think. But something else and whatever. But yes, because the modern government solution, the current British government solution to anything is slap great and British on it. Just slap some, like, George Crosses and, like, Union Jacks on something. And be like, yeah, it's great British, yeah. Brexit, Great British, yeah. Trains, Great British, yeah. Have you actually fixed any of them? No. Is it any different to the system we had in any way? No, that would involve spending money. We don't want to do that. We want to drown. We want to bathe in money. Loads and loads of money. And have affairs with secretaries in baths of money. Or is that just Matt Hancock? I don't know. Anyway. Have you fixed anything? No, but it's still great. Frosty flaps. Anyway, we're trundling through this long tunnel, which I like to call the Tunnel of Metaphor. This tunnel is basically a metaphor for my mental health this past year. For the longest time, it was never-ending darkness, and it felt like there was no end, there was no light at the end of the tunnel. And then, through like March and April this year, slowly a light at the end of the tunnel started to emerge in the distance, slowly, and now we're almost there. Very close now, but yeah. Ironically, this light at the end of the tunnel just leads to another tunnel immediately. So it's a false start. The light of false hope. Brief little bit of lovely sunshine there, though. Loads e-money. The tunnel feels like British leadership since 2010. No, Mark, that would be a dead end. There would be no light at the end of the tunnel. It would be a dead end. With Tories laughing at you. Anyway, we're just under nice speed. And I don't think... Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. Oh, God. Oh, no, hang on. What button is it for the cab light? There we go. Right. Bump the reverser into neutral. There we go. Right, there we go. We can accelerate. Yep, okay. Just want to bump the speed up a bit more. 68. Oh, no. Oh, God, no, okay. I got scared. I looked up and saw those platforms and was like, oh, my God, are we stopping here? No. No, we're not. You know what we can do, then? There you go. Very nice. Not many spotters like on the platforms. Probably just some commuters. Who was like... I don't get paid enough to work up at this time. And shut up. I'm still half asleep. I do love good old trains. No, that's not a dirty joke either. Because why would it be? What was I going to say? I do love old trains. Well, you're in the right place. You're in the right place for sure. The Brighton Main Line's coming soon with Gatwick Express 387-7s. It is. Looking forward to that. Brighton Main Line's one I've travelled on quite a bit. So that's going to be very cool. Brighton's a wonderful place, man. Love it down there. Going through a little freight yard here. There are some scenarios involving picking up and dropping off wagons here. Rakes of wagons and stuff. So, well, there's one rake of wagons. Maybe that's what that Class 66 is going to be doing. And we met back at Strood. It's going to go in there, drop off one load, and then pick up another. And do a hecking trundle. Also, you may have seen some signs at the side of the track that say W. That actually means whistle. But of course, we're on a modern train that doesn't have a whistle, so we have a horn instead. Okay, and apparently this one has a 3-tone horn. Like it suddenly lost its... It had a cough. The train suddenly lost its squeaker. In the cab, there's a depot whistle. Oh, hang on. Where's the depot whistle? Horn. Night dimmers. Arm down. Disarm. It went all Oliver. Train voice crack. Next to the horn. AWS. Depot whistle. Oh! Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's really cute. I don't know how to do the depot whistle from the outside, otherwise I'd do so we'd probably hear it. Listen. That's so cute. That's so cute. Oh, we're speeding. Whoops. That's not cute. That's really cute. I love that. It's a bit like how I love the fact that even modern tube trains in London still have that kind of old-fashioned whistle sound to them. Like the beep, beep, like that. I just think it's really cute. And I believe, I want to say it was the Manchester Metrolink trams have like a very adorable little honky horn as well. It's like the small voice you'd use around children. It really is. It really is. I'm a big fan of that, really. I like that. And we've got to slow down to 50 miles an hour in a moment, so we will do that. And Gravesend is 1.3 miles away. In 1.3 miles, you will arrive at Gravesend. The next station is Gravesend. Change here for, I don't know, Gravesend. Change here for, I don't know, Gravesend. For Gravesendy things. We are also getting, I mean, we're not far away now. Oh, look at the lighting as well. It's so pretty. Easily, probably my favourite thing about Train Sim World 2, probably the lighting. It's so good. That's why I like running so many sunrise and sunset and like morning and evening based scenarios. You may be like, AJ, why have you never run just a train in the middle of the day? Because that's boring. I don't want to do that. Oh, some more slowing down will occur. But yeah, we're really not far away. In fact, I think Gravesend is the last stop. And then the next stop after that is Ebbsfleet International, where we change onto HighSpeed 1. But first we have to get to Gravesend. We have to go through that first. I remember PS2 graphics seemed games involved to what they are now is breathtaking. Yeah, I remember my dad when I was little saying that that Gran Turismo 2 looked like photo-real. It's been nearly a year since the Lando podium. What, the Austria one? I assume so. Okay, here we are. Ladies and gentlemen and friends of the non-binary, we are now arriving into Gravesend Station. Please remember to take all personal belongings with you when leaving the train. Otherwise, we'll blow them up. Otherwise, we'll stamp on them and blow them up. Not because of any terror threat, we'll just, you know, we're just mean like that. No joke, Forza 5 was the best looking game at E3 2021. I can believe it. I can believe it. I also like the fact that we're getting to a point now in video game. Close enough. I like the fact we're getting to a point now in games where, like, amazing looking graphics is not enough to sell a game, really. It's like, well, what else have you got? Everything looks really pretty. Also, that was just about spot on. Put it this way, no doors miss the platform. We're not going to have to do that thing like you get, particularly on the Circle and District line in London on the Tube, where some of the platforms are so short, the front doors don't open. And you get that announcement where it's like, the front doors will not open at this station. Please use other doors. But yeah, welcome to Gravesend. It's a place. I don't really have many... Well, I have a few memories of going to Gravesend, mainly, again, to go to punk shows. This little bar, like, sort of in the back area, like in a sort of dockyard area. Walking down there at night felt particularly intimidating, but, you know, it added to the atmosphere. You were like going to this like underground dive bar in the docks. Microsoft Flight Simulator impressive to when you think about the entire Earth is in the game. They've literally modelled planet Earth. There was us being like, look at GTA, they've modelled 30 square miles, that's amazing. Or the Getaway being like, look, they've modelled 20 square miles of London, that's awesome. Microsoft Flight Simulator now is like, we've modelled the entire planet, your move. Kerbal Space Program, like, we've modelled the entire solar system. Actually, we haven't, it's a fake solar system, but, you know, close enough. Anyway, all right, let's get back underway. So, that's our last conventional stop. The next stop will be Ebbsfleet International, and you know when the international suffix is applied to a station, that's when things are getting real. Meantime, I finished my tea, but I do still have water. Because, you know, I've got to stay hydrated, especially in the summer, and especially when working, especially when driving a 140-mile-an-hour train, which we haven't had a chance to drive at 140 yet. But patience. All in good time. Not long now. Ignore the fact we should have been at HighSpeed International 5 minutes ago, but never mind. You should expect that from me. This is my kind of timekeeping. 5 minutes late. But with plenty of interesting facts along the way. And deviations, you know? So in 1.6 miles, we'll be at HighSpeed International, which has a kind of interesting, like, dual setup. So the platforms will be on a 5 and 6, which are the ones that branch off and come down here onto the regular lines. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the ones that are just on the main high-speed one. And like I said, I'll be honest, I thought more of high-speed one would be in this route. I thought it would at least go down to Ashford International. So you get a longer stretch on it. It really... You only get about 10 or 15 minutes worth of running of it. It's kind of a shame, but, you know, hopefully as more and more high-speed type lines get added in the game, that'll be very cool. I know the F1 games get a lot of hate, but they're good-looking games. I'll be quite honest, I don't get some of the hate for the F1 games. I think they've just sort of settled into being, like, familiar. Like, there's not much more they can innovate on for the moment, except now that Cody's is owned by EA, and, you know, it's only a matter of time before it's my ultimate team. They're already putting a storyline mode in flipping F1 2021, which I can't decide if that could be awesome, or it just already looks absolutely, like, cringe yourself inside out levels. So, yeah, I've generally really liked the F1 games. I never got around to playing 2020 that much, which is unfortunate because that was, like, viewed as one of the best ones. Oh, like, we do need to start slowing down now here. Start slowing down because now we're going to veer left. I'm not sure where that line actually goes beyond Ebbsfleet that way, but you kind of bypass Ebbsfleet International. And funnily enough, though it has the... Whoops, just knocked over my water. Even though it has the international suffix, I don't think there's a normal Ebbsfleet station. Like, there's a Stratford International and a regular Stratford station. There's a St Pancras International, which is just St Pancras. Do you see what I mean? My favourite F1 game was my first racing game. What one's that? F1 Race Stars on the... No. Those two lines go off to Charing Cross. Oh, okay. That would make sense. That would make sense. So you sort of bypass Ebbsfleet International that way. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. We are now arriving at Ebbsfleet International. Change here for more Ebbsfleet International. You know, only 7 minutes late. That's fine. They're trying something new, can't fault them for it. Yeah, you know. Not bad. Change here for a Greenfield. Yeah, change here for a car park. and some wind farms in the distance. So there you go. There's the rest of HighSpeed. There's the rest of HighSpeed International down there, where all the cool trains go to keep going on to, you know, towards Ashford International and, you know, France and stuff. So, meantime, we're up here, and we're going to join HighSpeed 1 right down there. But before we do that, we need to change our power supply, which is where I kind of failed last time. I didn't really do this very well. I thought I'd done it, and then I sort of coasted to a stop on HighSpeed 1. Like, why have I stopped? Why is there no power going through the train? Before we do that, some quick pictures, because why the hell not? Okay. F1 World Grand Prix on the N64. Wow. That's impressive. Right, so neutral. So we press... is it DC? Hang on. Okay, yep. And then 1, 2. Lock the doors. And we should have... Is that a pantograph I can see at the back? There it is. Can you see that? The pantograph's up. There we go. So, reverser. Forward. Are we ready? Are we ready for speed? Tell you a big giveaway on the dash. It's done that thing again. Hang on. This again. There we go. Are you really sure you want to go fast? Yes. Also, a big giveaway that we're on the correct power supply now is that you'll see in the top right. Actually, you can't see in the top right. It's just hidden by my face. Right about here. the speed display for the prevailing speed on the line right now is switched to kilometres an hour, as it has there on that red display there. You see, it's now in kilometres an hour because we're on high speed 1, which has that European kilometres an hour nonsense, you know, because we don't do those things in Brexit Britain. It's all miles per hour, none of that kilometres an hour nonsense. But no, these trains are like, we don't care. We don't care about that. I somewhat prefer the more road-oriented racing games. So, Road Rash? I don't know. Do you mean like the, I don't know, the arcadey games? Anyway, we're over 80 miles an hour. Well, I like the fact that the main speedo in the bottom right, because we've set it to be in MPH, it stays in MPH. And we're into the tunnels. This is an experience. Why is that one section kilometres an hour? That seems redundant. Well, all of High Speed 1 is in kilometres an hour. It just so happens that we've joined High Speed 1 quite late in the day, if you will. Metropolis Street Racer, Ferrari F3. Oh, nice! Like the arcadey street racing games. Big fun. Love those. I'm one of those weird people. It seemed to be for a long time that if you were a sim racer, you didn't like those stupid kiddie arcade racing games. And I was like, no, I like both, to be honest. Because it's possible not to be a pretentious prat. Anyway, we're doing serious speed now. We are doing serious speed now. 115 miles an hour, aka 185 kilometres an hour. Although we're actually slowing down a little bit because we're going slightly uphill. There's quite a steep climb out of Ebbsfleet International. And in a moment, once we get out of this tunnel, we should be going over the Dartford Bridge and the M25. Something I've travelled on many, many times. And every single time I've gone over the Dartford Bridge, I've looked down, quite often seen a Javelin or a Eurostar, and be like, look, it's High Speed 1, there it is. My dad's been like, yes, I know, you say that every time we go over here. Especially when you wreck and you can't do this like a nuke. Oh, is that the series that they killed with LA Rush, aka we want to pimp my ride at home? Mum, I want a Pimp My Ride game. Why would you want that? The actual Pimp My Ride game is rubbish, but I still want one. No, we've got Pimp My Ride at Home. Pimp My Ride at Home, LA Rush. More like LA Rubbish, am I right? Anyway, yeah, that was the Dartford Bridge back there. And now, we're doing serious speed now. Here we go. Hand him to his dad. Your fault for timing the drive so well. Well, given that he's the reason I'm a train nerd, I'm sure secretly he didn't mind. LA Rush out the door. Very good. Yeah, I believe me and my friend Nay Fitzpatrick, who most of the music on this channel, that's his work. We used to have a YouTube channel called Armbar Arcade. Most of you in the chat, the live studio audience, will know about this channel. And in fact, he's been in a few episodes of Another Station on the Mile. He was in the Northern Heights episode. So there you go. You'll recognise him from there. We used to have a channel called Armbar Arcade, where we'd collab and do joint gaming videos, gameplay videos, normally all retro stuff. We had a series called The Bad Games Beatdown, where, as it said, we took bad games and we beat the hell out of them. Because it's what they deserved, really, for being so bad. And one of the games we played in that series was LA Rush. And I'm pretty certain he mentioned that that was the last game in the Rush series and one of the last games that Midway made before going under. So, yeah, I think it did kind of end that series quite badly. It ended that series by smashing it headlong into a wall at 130 miles an hour with no airbags. So anyway, speaking of 135 miles an hour, we've just been doing that, and I plan on not smashing into a wall anytime soon. 10 seconds later. How's that happened? No, anyway. We're all good. As you can see there, the top speed prevailing shows in that box there when you're on high speed 1. So that's 225 kilometers an hour. We're doing 224, which is 139 miles an hour. There seems to be a little bit of grace above and beyond. So now we're at 140. We're at 225 kilometers an hour. I was about to ask for your thoughts on the Northern City line. Are you new around here? The same studio made the awful Vin Diesel Wheelman game. I need to play that. I need to play that because it's bollocks. The old one I played a lot was San Francisco Rush. That was a good game. I'm sure they were. It's just unfortunate that they ended so badly. So yeah, we are now doing 230 kilometers an hour. 231. So there seems to be a little bit of tolerance. There we go. I think when you go over 230 kilometers an hour, they're like, nah, that is a bit fast now. Especially now we're going downhill. So 143 miles an hour is okay. Any more than that, and you're just pushing it, you know? It's like, okay, now you're pushing it. Anyway, whoops, wrong camera button, there we go. Morning sunshine glinting off the side of our Javelin. I remember when they were first introduced, I was a bit like, yeah, okay, they're some train, but they've kind of lasted well, and they've just kind of been there and always been kind of cool and timeless, you know? I quite like that. Drink that tasty H2O? I will, Nightbot. I will do that. Javelin should go 225 and Eurostars go 230, yeah. It's like I always found it confusing how you had the Intercity 125 project, which was the HST, that had a top speed of 125 miles an hour, and then Intercity 225, where you had the Class 91s, was it? That could do 140. I was like, wait, so they can't do 225 miles an hour? No, they do 225 kilometers an hour. Oh, okay. You just use that as an excuse to make a cool name out of it. Meantime, we're still about 4.3 miles away from Stratford International. I think this is another reason why I kind of wanted more of HighSpeed 1 in this route, because the bit that you do get, a lot of it is in tunnels. So you may as well be playing the Bakerloo line with a speed glitch. You may as well be speed running the Bakerloo line. Mr. Aero actually was speed running SF Rush up until a couple of weeks ago. Oh, okay, interesting. Big ups to Aero. We love him. We stand him in this house. Bing. 225. Yep, we're doing that. But in my experience, when it starts binging at you like that, it's normally saying it's time to slow down. Because in the top right, it's still showing that we've got 2.2 miles before we have to slow down. There you go. But the speedo on the dash is saying, no, you kind of need to start slowing down now. Because we are stopping at Stratford International, which is just before St Pancras International. So there we go. We'll just put a little bit of braking on for the moment. We are going uphill as well, so we can probably coast. Nah, we'll keep a bit of braking on. Ugh. 2.2 miles at 140 miles an hour goes by quick. Yes, it does. Does someone who's more competent at maths than I am, which really isn't hard, work out what that average would be? How quickly 2.2 miles would pass by at 140 mile an hour? So yeah, we are slowing down quite dramatically now, because we kind of have to. We're now under a mile away. I'm pretty sure I blinked, and it went from 2.2 miles to 1 mile. So there you go. Coming up on the station, though. Hang on a sec, something weird's happened. Oh, that's why. There we go, okay, good. I got concerned for a second. I was like, why can't I push the 57 minutes? Hang on, that doesn't sound right. 56.6 seconds. Yeah, I'm sure Small Chopper meant seconds as well. Yeah, that was a little bit weird. As we were coming up through the tunnel, I couldn't apply any power. The throttle seemed to be jammed, but then I realised I'd knocked the reverser into neutral again. That seems to be quite a common thing. I seem to keep doing that. 14.4 mph. Okay, here we go at Stratford International. So if anyone wants to get up early and do some shopping, I'm not sure Westfield is even open yet. But there you go. If you're queuing for a new iPhone, I don't know, you could, you know. We're not going to judge you. Well, I mean, I might, but, you know, you do you, man. Meantime, I'm going to miss the overstop. The overstop? The stop marker. Not by much, though. Close enough. Right. Unlock the doors. And there it is. Oh, look at this. I have been to this station once before. I got a train from St Pancras International. I got a Javelin down to here, and then just hung out here for a bit, spotting some Eurostars. Which normally, because none of them bother to stop here, go through on the centre road. This track here. And the first generation Eurostars, the original classic ones, which I love the most, they make this beautiful like wind noise when they speed through at high speed. They make the brilliant, like, shoo, 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 like that. The newer ones, the kind of thicker ones, don't quite do that. Unless I've not heard them, you know, at the right speed or in the right locations. Yeah, the 373s, they look great. They look cool. That's that Eurostar sound. Like the Shinkansen noise. I imagine so, yeah, same thing. It's like a wind noise that's so powerful it actually has its own sound to it, you know what I mean? It's not just a like that. It has an actual, like, note to it, you know? Right, lock the right side doors. We'll take a picture. There we go. Doors, there we go. And then a quick little blast up to St Pancras International. The new one's a longer IC3 with a less elegant paint scheme. I like the colour blue on the newer ones. That's nice. But, yeah, that classic Eurostar is always going to be the one because I think in my East Midlands HST farewell video, pluggity-plug, I mentioned that I had two... Well, I had a wooden toy train set as a kid. I believe the brand was called Brio. And it was all like these wooden trains with like little magnet couplers and stuff. And I loved it. It was great. First sign right there, my parents were looking at each other. Like, my mum just looked at my dad and went, he's going to be a train nerd like you, isn't he? And my dad was like, well, sorry. I mean, not sorry. And wouldn't you know, I did. Between that and Thomas the Tank Engine, I really don't think my dad... my dad didn't really work hard to make me not a train nerd. In fact, anyone would think he was actually encouraging it. Which he totally was. But yes, when I had that little wooden toy train set as a little kid, there were two trains I had for it, in particular, that I really loved. I think I had some Thomas the Tank Engine stuff, obviously, because that was like religion when I was like 4 years old, you know? So I had some of them, but I had two trains that were like models of real trains. One of them was an in-city liveried HST, which was awesome. Like, I only found this out a few months back talking to my mum and dad. One of the first trains I ever rode on and ever seemed to love was a HST. They were, my parents were travelling down to see my dad's family, I think, down in Devon. And they got a HST down there, much like I did when we went to the Dawlish Seawall and all that. And apparently, on board, I really liked it. I found the seats, and I was like barely a baby. I was like 2 years old, I think. I do not remember this whatsoever. I don't remember taking this train. Which sucks. I wish I did. I thought so. I thought this is where you're going to start. When that started binging at me on the dash... Oh, by the way. Hey, cab lights. Hang on a minute. Gee, guys, I just had a great idea. Sorry. Anyway. Yeah. When I was little, we went on a HST, and I loved it. Apparently, I just slept in the comfortable seat. I was quiet. I didn't cry. I just looked out the window and looked at the lovely, pretty sights out the window. I loved it. So between that and having a toy HST wooden toy train and loving that, I was like, of course I was going to love HSTs. I was born to be. And the other favourite toy wooden train that I had when I was little was a 373 Eurostar, original gen Eurostar. And I thought they looked amazing. I thought they looked so cool. And it is definitely a bucket list thing of mine to travel, make a journey across Europe on one of those original generation Eurostars, because they are starting to be cascaded out now because they get a bit old. And because they are so god-tier powerful, they're not exactly easy to preserve or anything or keep running. I believe there's one that's just rotting away in a siding in the French countryside. There's loads of videos on YouTube about it, just like the abandoned Eurostar. It's literally like walking up and seeing a Eurostar as if it's what it would look like in the zombie apocalypse, you know. So I believe there are still ones running. I think they're doing specific services to like Switzerland in the winter and stuff. But I will, you know, it's like that Wayne's World thing. They're becoming tin cans or bicycles, I think. Yeah, that's a real shame. I hope at least one gets preserved. I'm sure one like power car at very least, or like a set, will be saved in the National Railway Museum. Maybe they'll save it as a static exhibit. Oh, still slowing down here. Aren't there some Eurostar services to the south of France? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I think it's those ones that are still run by the old 373s. So hopefully I'll get to ride on them one day before they are completely cascaded too. So there's a little bit of a bucket list thing. If any of you are kind enough to tip while I'm on the stream, that's what it'll end up going towards. Excuse me. Okay, meantime, back in the present. Excuse me. Back in the present, we're coming up above ground again. And we're trundling, we're making the slow trundle into St Pancras International, our final destination. We are now approaching St Pancras International, our final destination. No, not like those films, Final Destination, not that. We're not going to suddenly fall over and explode and everyone dies. Hopefully not, although we are now speeding. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Steady. Steady there. Steady there. There we go. I'm calm, I don't know what you're talking about. This is what happens when your driver tries to make announcements on the fly as well. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen and friends of the non-binary. We are coming up on St Pancras International, our final destination. Just knocked over my bottle again. Anyway, relax. I've got this under control, mostly. This is quite a familiar sight for me. Like I say, not long ago, I was coming through on those lines over there into those platforms, the East Midlands Railway platforms, on a HST. One of the last to ever operate out of here and on the Midland Main Line, which is quite a cool little main line. I think it gets overlooked. We're coming up on St Pancras International. Very accurate. And only the best part of just under 10 minutes late. You know, I'd say that's an absolute win. Or whatever that Incredible Hulk meme goes. So, anyway. Trundling in. Sometimes you've got to be out of control to be in control. I think that applies when you're drifting or racing high-performance cars. Maybe not with a train. Although this is a high-performance train. Ooh. And we are coming up on the buffer stops relatively quickly. And I'm always a little bit... I don't quite trust these brakes. So, there we go. And now we do that. And... oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Spot on. There it is. Unlock the doors. Hop out. And, check it out. There we go. Welcome to St Pancras International. Here it is. We're in the international part of St Pancras International. This is the extension that they built when they rebuilt this for Eurostar. And you can see in there, right there, that's the original train shed. That's the original St Pancras building, which is stunning. Absolutely beautiful. Fun fact, well, not fun fact, but an interesting fact anyway, London Euston Station used to look spectacular. And then it was deemed an eyesore by some blithering idiots and completely rebuilt into basically a grey, soulless, horrible box. It is absolutely hideous. It is the most depressing thing ever. They may as well have built it as a prison. It's so depressing. And people were so outraged that the original classic architecture was just wiped off the map that when similar plans were suggested for St Pancras, notable figures, including Sir John Betjeman, the author, which is why there's a statue of him in St Pancras International, lobbied and said, no, we're not doing this. No, you're not doing that, because if anything, St Pancras is even more gorgeous than the original Euston was. And at various points there have been certain things to be like, well, it's right next to King's Cross, that's got a main line, we don't need another one, why don't we just wipe that off and turn it into a massive Asda, I don't know. Seemingly most old station sites seem to now be a supermarket of some kind. Isn't Euston going to be torn down? Well, no, part of it's going to be rebuilt for HighSpeed 2, which is quite ironic. We've just been on HighSpeed 1. We're now talking about HighSpeed 2. But yes, St Pancras for a while was kind of in limbo, but luckily the original train shed has been saved and it's restored. The original hotel, which is still beautiful, it looks stunning. And I love the fact they found a fresh use for it as the home for Eurostar. Because it was bolted onto that extra bit of London Waterloo, which was then left empty when Eurostar moved back out again. No, hang on, calm down. I need to finish it. Finish it. Hop back in the chair and lock the doors again. And there we go, we've done. And there we go, we've finished. Do-do-do-do-do. That should be it. Oi. Have you not heard of social distancing, sir? Anyway, I know it's early in the morning, but anyway, there it is. That'll do. That is our Ron driving 1F05 Faversham to St Pancras International. We scored 13,865 points of stuff. And, well, we were consistently... We started off 3 minutes behind. I think with my rambling and commentary, that normally happens. And we ended up about 9 minutes down by the end. But, you know, that's okay. You travelled in style. We nailed the stop at Gillingham. 0.263 yard stop accuracy. St Pancras International apparently didn't count. I think we were even closer. At one point, we were ahead. Were we? 24, 27. I'm trying to look here. 2 minutes, 39, 45, 43. Yeah, I'm close. Anyway, what was the worst one? Oh, yeah, we kind of missed the mark at Stratford. Not quite as bad as on a previous run on this very stream. So folks on YouTube, you won't have seen this, but it's almost like being at a wrestling show with like dark matches. In a dark match scenario that we did, where we started at St Pancras, I may have missed the mark a bit at Ebbsfleet International by about 75 yards. In fact, I had to back up the whole train back into the platforms. So luckily, it didn't go that badly wrong. Return to free roam. We'll do that because it's very early and I'm off to go get some breakfast. It's 6:10 in the morning. I just want a McDonald's breakfast wrap. Or, you know, a hot chocolate from Costa. I want something. Anyway, that's what we're off to do. There's our train. Look at it there. Waiting to depart and head back down High Speed 1 again. And there's London City. Over there is King's Cross. Over there's some cars trundling around. And it's all good. A lovely sunny morning in the city. And that'll conclude today's ASAM Plays video. Our journey today. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Thank you very much for travelling on this train. It was a little bit behind schedule, but we hope it was informative and enjoyable. So thank you all very much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, can people stop pushing me out the way? Blimey, rush hour is hectic around here, isn't it? That's why I don't like living in the city, you know? Anyway, I'm just going to stand over here so no one can shove me out the way. Apparently no one's heard of social distancing in this universe. Thank you for choosing AJ Express. Yeah, there you go. So if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you have. Do all the good stuff, comment and stuff. Subscribe if you're new on the channel, and consider joining as a YouTube member or a Patreon or a patron or something like that if you want to support the channel further. For everyone that's watched this in the Twitch live studio audience, thank you for hanging out today as well. Lovely to have you all along. Really nice to do this. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon along the way. I'm off to go get breakfast now.